Today on Cooking for Wellness, we're making a roasted salmon bowl with quinoa and crispy kale. So stick around and let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Cooking for Wellness at NYU Langone Health. We are joined by a very special guest today that needs no introduction. Our very own Dean and CEO of NYU Langone Health, Dean Robert Grossman. Welcome, Dean Grossman.
Thank you, Jeff. Pleasure to be here, and I look forward to cooking with you.
So, Dean Grossman, your list of accomplishments in medicine and science are unmatched. But I wonder how many people know that you're also a passionate and talented home cook.
Well, I might argue with those adjectives, but I enjoy cooking, and we cook at home quite a bit, especially over the summer, and we like to grill, and we enjoy food.
So Cooking for Wellness, we really strive for the importance of food and nutrition here at the hospital. So I'm just curious to know, how important do you feel food and nutrition is here at the hospital?
Yeah, food and nutrition are critically important to me, to the institution, and most importantly to our patients. You know, they're in a hospital bed, and the only thing they really have to look forward to, actually two things: getting out of the hospital and their food. Yeah. And so anything we could do to make the food of the highest quality, nutritious, and get it delivered to them at the appropriate time is really critical.
So today we're going to prepare a very popular dish from the Kimmel Café, our roasted salmon bowl with mushroom, quinoa, crispy kale, and SRIRACHA. It is a delicious and satisfying dish that is nutrient dense. It is also easy to create if you follow a series of very simple steps. Dean Grossman, let's get started.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so the first thing we did was we preheated our oven to 300 degrees to make our kale chips. We simply take curly kale, strip it off of the stem, slice it, and we just gently massage it with a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, cook it in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes, nice and crispy, and we've already taken care of that. But we're gonna start on our quinoa now. We take a little bit of olive oil, and we're gonna begin by searing our mushrooms. So we have 2 cups of shiitake mushrooms and 2 cups of CREMINI mushrooms. So the trick to searing mushrooms, it's very important that you allow them to sear. We don't want to stir them and continuously move them around. We want to let them just kind of sear, take time, and allow the water to evaporate out of the pot. That's how we concentrate the flavor of the mushroom and get a nice brown exterior. Okay, so our mushrooms are looking great, starting to look nice and brown. So another tip for this is the seasoning process. As we salt and pepper as we go, always, it's important with mushrooms because you're gonna see so much moisture evaporate and the product just shrink down. So allow it to brown before you salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add a little fresh pepper and a little bit of salt. You wanna give them a stir. Mushrooms have a ton of health benefits and they're delicious.
Smells great.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and add a cup of sliced scallions, and we have 1 cup of toasted pine nuts as well. So there's a couple ways to cook quinoa. I mean, you can cook it like pasta, and today we're cooking it like a rice pilaf style. That means it goes into the pot, you essentially toast it, then you add the water, bring that to a boil, turn it down, cover it, and let it cook for about 20 minutes. Very, very low heat. Let's add the quinoa right to the pot.
Okay.
Perfect. And we can stir that up. Quinoa is great. There's so many things you can mix it with. High in protein, high in fiber, also delicious. I tell my kids quinoa pasta, as long as I say the word pasta, they say, all right, let's have it. I'm gonna go ahead and add our water. So that was 3 cups of quinoa to 1.5 quarts of water. Okay, once this comes up to a boil, I'm gonna turn down that flame. I'm gonna cover it. We're gonna allow it to cook about 16, 18 minutes. While we wait, we're gonna start to sear our salmon. So you wanna grab one of those saute pans.
Okay.
So it's like a medium-high heat. We don't wanna go too high so we singe the edges of the fish. We also don't wanna be too low so it essentially almost steams. We're gonna add a little bit of olive oil, Once again, a lot of people say, don't like to sear hot with olive oil. I say the health benefits trump the smoke point. We use olive oil when we cook. So we're gonna take our fish, we're going to salt and pepper the fish. The salt actually helps with the sear. We always wanna do both sides.
Now here I noticed we took the skin off the other side.
I would probably say I take the skin off about half the time. Crispy salmon skin is delicious. It does take a little bit more technique and finesse for everyday cooking. So, typically when we're showing a recipe, we remove the skin. So we're always gonna add our fish to the pan flesh side down, so the opposite of the skin. Never wanna crowd the pan. Encourages it to kind of steam, so nice evenly spaced, perfect. So how often do you get a chance to cook at home on a normal week?
Normally we don't cook at home during the winter,
okay.
but in the summer and spring when we're out east, we do cook a lot at home.
Nice.
And I love cooking at home. I think it's healthy. There's less salt, there's less fat, less butter, all the nutritious things that at the hospital we think about all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's the number one thing we do here at the hospital. Regardless of what we're using, we're a scratch kitchen. So that's the most important thing, just like you said. So the preservatives, the extra added sugar and sodium don't exist when you're cooking from scratch, plain and simple.
Right, and the ingredients, just like in the hospital, are very fresh.
Sure.
We go to farms to get the produce. Yeah. We go to fish stores to get the fresh fish, and then we cook it that day.
Yeah, this salmon is wild salmon. Not always the easiest thing to find, but if you're interested, you can always go to a supermarket and just simply ask.
So Jeff, how do we know when to flip?
So the best technique is, number one, we're gonna flip it once. Or resist the urge to touch it. We're gonna actually watch the side of the fish as it begins to turn opaque. We're gonna let it cook about 1/3 of the way. Once that happens, then we flip. We cook 1/3 of the way on the other side, and that's usually about a perfect mid-rare medium. Salmon is a very oily, fatty fish, and there's absolutely no need to cook it well done. It's nice to have a mid-rare medium.
About right, huh?
I think we're getting pretty close. All right, wanna give it a turn? Nice, looking good. I like a nice, even golden sear, not too much, not too little. All right, beautiful.
Is salmon your most popular fish?
Salmon is definitely our most popular fish at the hospital. As a matter of fact, it's the most popular patient meal item. Is our salmon with salsa verde. And then, this dish we're making now is one of the most popular in the retail cafes.
It's a great dish. I can tell you, I really enjoy eating it, and it's a wonderful liaison with the quinoa and with the scallions and cilantro.
What's your favorite style restaurant?
Oh, obviously I like Italian, I like French, I like Indian. When I was in college, I spent a year in England, and the only good food at the time was Indian food. So I love Indian food. And
really good curries. And
curries.
Yeah. Oh man, that's amazing.
They have, the flavors are unbelievable.
So our salmon is looking perfect right now. So we're ready to go. Let's assemble our bowl.
Okay.
Our quinoa is good to go. The fish is looking perfect. Let's take a little bit of the quinoa. Now this is definitely something, that you could make in 30 to 40 minutes. So I would say a fairly easy weeknight meal. So we have our crispy kale chips. Just adds a little bit of a texture and crunch to the dish.
Yeah, great mouthfeel.
Okay. Put a piece of fish right on top. So you said you like spice. Literally just put a little sriracha right on that. And we had some fresh cilantro leaves. I feel like it just brightens it up.
Okay.
Let's see how we did. Not bad.
Awesome. I'm a fan.
That fish is perfect. Well done. So there you have it. Simple, easy roasted salmon bowl. Monday to Friday, Kimmel Café, 7th floor. Thank you so much for coming, Dean Grossman. Really appreciate it. Any final thoughts?
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for all you do for us. You've done an amazing job. I'm proud of our food, our cafeteria, and all of our workers who make this place so special. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Check out more episodes of Cooking for Wellness on the NYU Langone Health YouTube channel.